Amanda,
Hey, how's it going?
hi. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, there's enough to talk about. I mean, Donald Trump is a misogynist man-child who thinks he can grab women wherever he wants, get away with it. And we know that because he told us. But now he wants to make sure that he and other dangerous men like himself can always get away with it by using his own Justice Department to silence his accuser, Jean Carroll. Amanda, if you don't know Amanda Marcotte's work, she is the senior, I don't know where you've been. She's the senior politics writer for Salon and the author of Troll Nation. Amanda, thanks for joining us today. Can you talk about cancel culture and why it's so often used to discredit the left, first of all?
Yeah, so I think what has happened is a very small but real problem of people being a little overly aggressive and rude and ready to believe false accusations on the left and left-wing Twitter circles has been taken and blown out of proportion by a lot of people and been used as an excuse to claim that the left is censorious, that the left is trying to silence people, that the right is for free speech and all this other stuff. But in reality, as much as a handful of overreacting leftists on Twitter are annoying, the truth of the matter is it's the right that has been doing most of the silencing and censoring of people. I mean, Donald Trump literally tear gassed peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square to disperse them for no other reason than they were protesting in favor of Black Lives Matter and speaking their minds. They were peaceful. He tear gassed them. That is silencing. That is canceling.
Although it did kind of, give them a bigger platform than they would have had if he just let them sit there, kind of.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that conservatives like to claim that they're being censored when they're not, and trying to say things like being criticized by someone on the left equals being canceled and other things like that, is because they know that claiming that you're being censored has a lot of power, that it makes people more willing to listen to your message. And so they will claim censorship where it doesn't exist just to get more people interested in their message.
That's what we do here. No. We're using the same technique. It sickens me, actually, that works on a psychological level for people. And it's very frustrating to me.
Yeah. Well,
what do we name the show? Like, just logical talk. No one's going to watch it. Like stuff you can't hear anywhere else. That's what people watch.
I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense. Why would anybody bother to censor information that's not dangerous, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there is this thing, though, how can we get the people who are doing damage on the left to like tone it down a little bit, because they are helping the right flip the script on who is canceling?
That's a really tough question, because again, I would say that the quote unquote cancel culture on the left is really blown out of proportion. I mean, I've certainly had people attack me on Twitter. They're jerks, right? They inevitably move on. Most people I know who've been canceled, I've been canceled like 5 or 6 times over bullshit.
And now here you are, uncanceled.
Yeah, uncanceled. Like a lot of the time it's young people, it's people that don't understand sort of the dynamics of the stuff. They've been empowered by social media. They're not important people. They don't have real power in the world most of the time. It's like college kids and high school kids a lot of the time. I wish I could tell them to tone it down and maybe learn to prioritize better, but that's like kind of an artifact of youth, I think. And then, focusing on that to a large extent is a distraction from the fact that there are a lot of powerful people on the right that are actively trying to cancel opinions using real power that they don't want to hear. They want to, shut down Black Lives Matter protests. They want to get college professors fired for leftist thought. They want to, for instance, try to suppress the free press, which is something Trump has been trying to do. I mean, he tried to shut down Stars and Stripes which is an independent military magazine. I mean, there's real censorship going on in this country, and it's almost exclusively coming from the right.
You recently wrote that the Trump administration is using its own Justice Department to cancel Jean Carroll. This is unprecedented. Talk about this, and I think, should we be worried?
We should be very worried. So what happened is E. Jean Carroll accused Donald Trump of raping her in the 90s. This is an incredibly credible accusation. She has two witnesses who said that she told them at the time. Trump is on tape bragging about sexually assaulting women. There's been 24 women who have accused him of sexual assault and harassment. So this is not a surprising accusation. It's not even the first time that somebody has said that Donald Trump raped them. His first wife said that in a deposition. She took it back under threat of losing her alimony, but she did say it.
Yeah.
And
you can't take it back once it's in a book or out there somewhere. Yes. Oy.
And Carroll has been pressing her point. The statute of limitations in New York for rape has expired, but she sued Trump for defamation because he accused her of lying and said she wasn't his type, which is nuts. She looked exactly like his first two wives at the time. And, all sorts of other vile things that he said about her. So she sued him for defamation, mainly to create a court record of what has happened here and to sort of force him to give over evidence to prove that it's true. And she has this dress that she says has DNA evidence of the rape on it and has been trying to get Trump to turn over a blood sample so that they can prove that it was his. If it wasn't him, I feel like he should just exonerate himself by turning over that blood sample. But for some reason, he's really opposed to doing that.
Why is it a blood sample? Can't they just get one of his hairs? I mean, they fall out all the time, so that can't be. This is a science question, but whatever.
That is a good question. I don't know how they would do that, but they have to get close to him.
Your toothbrush, and then they, come on.
But the larger point is Bill Barr has taken the unprecedented move of claiming that trying to use the Justice Department to take over Trump's defense in this defamation case, claiming that it's a case against the U.S. government because saying that Trump raped you in the 90s is somehow about the U.S. government. The legal reasoning is capricious and stupid, so I'm not going to get into it.
Wasn't there now, if my memory serves, wasn't there a blowjob that almost got a president impeached not too long ago? I mean,
yeah, that's the other thing. There is precedent.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of where the legal maneuvering is going. Trump and his lawyers know that they can't claim that the president can't be forced to turn over DNA because Bill Clinton was forced to turn over DNA on a much lesser charge in the 90s. Perjury as opposed to defamation, rape.
Yeah.
Whereas, so what this is all about is trying to get the case taken out of state court into a federal court. And if they do, they can get it dismissed immediately because you can't sue the U.S. government for defamation.
If Trump ever gets out of office or leaves office or we get rid of him somehow, will Ms. Carroll be able to sue him at that point or get some justice that way?
Probably. So I am not a lawyer, so I don't know what the law is on civil suits and suing somebody again for the same thing.
What's the message that the Justice Department is trying to send by defending Trump on this case?
So I don't really know that this is just about Donald Trump necessarily, because I don't think that it really moves the needle much if you can prove in public that he raped somebody, because we already know that he sexually assaults women. He's bragged about it on tape. So that's baked in, and it didn't change anything in 2016. And I don't know that he's going to lose any votes over it now. I mean, maybe a few at the margins, but so I don't really think it's about saving his reelection prospects, but I do think a lot of Republicans, Bill Barr included, are really angry about the Me Too movement. They're really angry about these efforts to hold men accountable.
What? I should be able to rape with my impunity. This is why I got all this power. I mean,
yeah, they don't want women to be empowered to speak their mind out and tell the truth about their experiences. They want them to shut up and go away.
They don't even want them to be able to not be raped. You know what I mean? It goes beyond just the speaking, as you've said, as you've written about it.
Exactly.
No, They should just, let's go back to the Mad Men days where that was just part of having a job. You get your ass grabbed at the desk. Anyway, what would you say to a woman who is scared to speak out about sexual assault because of cases like this?
I mean, I think that the good news is that the Me Too movement has proved that as long as we have each other's backs, it can create power, even as people are doing things like bringing the might of the Justice Department against you to silence you, right? Like, E. Jean Carroll spoke out in no small part because she felt empowered by the Me Too movement. She's been publishing articles in The Atlantic speaking to other women who've accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. And I think they all feel empowered because other women have been speaking out, and we basically all held hands and jumped, you know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So the intersection between cancel culture and the Me Too movement, can you talk a little bit about where we are with that at this point, since the Me Too movement is now in the cake? It's not, they're trying to discredit it, but it's here.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the beginning, there was a lot of fear in feminist circles that there would be a backlash, and we are definitely in the middle of it. I really think it started with Brett Kavanaugh and the right deciding to rally around him, even though he clearly lied under oath, and Christine Blasey Ford did not, as far as we know.
Didn't it start even before that, when all these dudes got mad that maybe we were going to have a female president right after having a black one? And what is this world coming to?
Yes, I mean,
that was a bridge too far. Like a female Margaret Thatcher, just because of the femaleness, I think really just put her over the edge.
I wouldn't compare Hillary Clinton to Margaret Thatcher, but
no, but she wasn't so okay. We'll move on from there. But yes,
I mean, yeah, I agree that the problem is there's a backlash, but I do think that it's not. I think we have discovered that backlashes aren't inevitable. Backlashes aren't always going to win. That as long as we kind of dig our heels in and fight back, we can win this one. I think Me Too shifted things pretty in a way that's been pretty difficult for the right to claw back. I mean, you even what is the opposite argument? She deserved it. I mean, the same thing that's always been saying about victims of sexual harassment and abuse, right? They try to muddy the waters, and appeal. They use the logic is there's not logic there. It's a lot of basically people have this sort of inchoate belief that women should keep their mouths shut because they don't like them rocking the boat. And so then all these excuses kind of pour out, maybe she's lying. How do we know? False accusations, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff that's there to muddy the waters instead of, try to defend what is fundamentally an irrational viewpoint, which is that if you get assaulted, you should shut up about it and just accept it, What
kind of personal response do you have to the fact that white college educated women was a big part of Trump's voting bloc last time?
It was white women generally, fewer college educated white women than non-college educated white women. So I think that's pretty clear because critical, and a lot of that is an age difference because a lot of non-college educated people are older. They come from a generation where you didn't need to graduate from college to be middle class.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I would say that what you're looking at is a lot of older white women who share a lot of white conservative men's racist beliefs. I think you're looking at a lot of older white women that are married to conservative white men, and so kind of vote along with their husbands. But I also think that you're seeing the gender gap growing every election, and there's a not small chance that we're going to see Trump's share of white female voters shrink over 2016. And one of the reasons we know this is because in 2018 midterms, white women were split pretty much down the middle instead of majority Republican as they have been in the past.
Amanda Marcotte, senior politics writer for Salon, author of Troll Nation. Amanda, what are we looking for your next piece?
I'm writing about Trump claiming that he lied about the coronavirus because he didn't want people to panic, which is news to me since his entire message about the 2020 campaign is panic about everything except the coronavirus.
My thought about this, a brief thought, Amanda, that he is a narcissist. I have a background in being a psychotherapist before I started hosting this show. He is a narcissist. Narcissists can't admit that they don't know something.
Yeah.
They just have to know everything. It's like part of it. Not that helps anything or excuses his behavior, but
he's worse. He claims he's an expert in basically everything.
Right. That's
I mean, really? Like, nobody's an expert in everything.
Smartest brains. Oh boy.
Very
I'm
good.
looking forward to the end of this thing. I hope. Do you see light on the horizon? I'm asking all of our guests to tell me something that will keep me going into the next interview.
Well, the good news is Trump can't win a fair election.
The bad news is
he's going to try to steal it. Yeah. So it's on to viewers and anybody who wants to save our democracy to keep it from doing it in 2020.
Amanda Marcotte, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on. Follow Amanda on Twitter at Amanda Marcotte, Marcotte. We'll look out for that next piece. I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.